Hello. This is Sean, Sunner Trading. Want to go over some charts today. If you're in that live chat, just comment if you're here so I know that it's not just me talking to a screen very kindly. Want to talk about Luna today. We had a really nice long setup that we anticipated all the way back on the 11th. We were looking for a pullback to this planned symmetry resistance and also fib ratio. Coming back to my channel content real quick, if I go to my dashboard, just made a video review with this, but if I were to go back on the 11th, we went over this chart as well. So I'm going to go on a daily chart, see a little bit more of the data. So right here, it's all about shot selection. So say if you're playing basketball, you want to find the best shot on the court. And when it's on these recent highs, you don't want to be buying. You want to wait for the next pullback. You want to find yourself in a strong chart. A strong chart exhibiting a series of higher highs and higher lows above that 200 moving average. And this is pretty rare in the cryptocurrency space because most charts right now on the daily, they're all trading below that 200 moving average. So you're looking at, it's okay, I need to find strength, but I'm not just going to randomly buy a place to buy. I want to look for a planned setup. So we were looking for these pullbacks like these. We reprojected to this new recent high, which gave us a pullback right around 74, 75, around that area. So if I were to do the work again, I'm going to remove some of the symmetry support work so you can see my thought process. Back on the 11th, when we made this video, we were here, okay? And at that time, it wasn't right for the picking. We wanted to make sure that it came down to a planned support right around 75. If I were to duplicate one of these trend lines, reprojected to that new recent high, that's where it would land. Like to see these dollar amount pullbacks and repeat themselves over and over on a chart. And that's what this tool is right here is for, the trend-based fib extension. Clicking from that pivot high to pivot low, projecting to that new recent high. That's what it says. That's what it means. It means that I'm going to do a 100% of the move. So only one of these selected. I'm not selecting anything else. So whatever this horizontal line is basically the same dollar amount that this one is experiencing. So back on the 11th, we were planning this pullback. We weren't buying up here. We were not buying on this particular bar. And over here, if I were to match this pullback, clicking from that pivot high, pivot low, pivot high, that'll provide another symmetry support against that zone. And it's how we go from decision to decision. Or to do a quick poll, I think I made another poll. So this is the pivot low that I use. This is the reason why I preferred symmetry support over just a random fib ratio. Fibonacci retracements are nice, but I like to see an exact dollar amount that can repeat itself. Not all the charts are going to demonstrate this type of symmetry, but we're going to look for ones that has demonstrated it before, and we want to be on the side of high probability. If you go on the hourly chart, what you will find is, what I like about this chart, it got up above that 200 moving average on the hourly. So there's strength coming to this chart. Now on your way back up, you got to recognize that there's going to be a resistance along the way. For example, it cleared the 200 moving average on the hourly chart, but if you flip on the 2 hour or 3 hour, you know on the way back up, it's going to be dealing with them as well. On the 3 hour, where is that 200 moving average? It's over here. I'm just going to make a horizontal line. Okay, so over here, that's the 3 hour. Popping back down on the 2 hour. This is the 200 moving average on the 2 hour. On the 4 hour, where is it at? Also right around the same area, so this is a pocket of resistance. If we can clear this area, continue to establish a series of higher highs and higher lows, then we can potentially see new highs for Luna. And that's what I like to, but the whole point is we're just making the right decisions along the way. We want to look for our setups. We're anticipating a pullback. We want to make sure there is a turn. There's strength coming back into this chart, where there are buyers coming in and establishing a series of higher highs and higher lows, first on a smaller time frame and then on bigger time frames. And if it can clear this right here, then it's above a lot of moving averages on these smaller time frames. So there's nothing stopping from this chart going farther to the upside. And that's what we like, because comparing Luna with Bitcoin, this one, they're very, very different charts, right? So over with Bitcoin, trading below that 200 moving average, and I'm still anticipating a pullback with this one. If I want the patterns to repeat, I'm not just going to haphazardly buy Bitcoin at this level. I want to come to a plan, symmetry support along with some fib retracements, just like I did with Luna. Looking at this chart, if I were to go long with a chart like this, you have to recognize that this is a counter trend. It's very different than Luna because I'm trading below 200 moving average on the daily chart. I'm very likely on these smaller time frames too. Let's flip through them real quick. See, that's the 4-hour 200 moving average. Where's it at on the 3-hour? 3-hour, very close, right around the same area. 2-hour, okay, slightly above. Did we clear the 1-hour 200 moving average? It actually got up above the 200 moving average on the 1 hour. When there's strength coming back into this chart, it's going to have to start clearing these moving averages on a smaller time frame, and over time, clear them one by one through larger time frames. And that's a pattern you want to be recognizing. The sooner the better, because there are repeatable patterns that take place day in and day out in the stock market, in the crypto space. And the more that you recognize just for the chart for what it is and what it can do, you won't be so sidetracked by all these headlines that want to take your attention away from looking at the chart. So over here, that is the discussion with Luna. If you're in Luna right now, you're managing the trade. You can gradually ratchet up your stops using a smaller time frame on a different moving average, however you want to do it. But the whole point is lock it in your profits, right? So right here, let's just say you're in this already, you can use that 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame as your stop. So you can just lock in along the way as it moves back to the upside. Coming over to Thinkorswim, I'm taking a quick look at the Nasdaq. If you look over on the Qs, right now we are seeing some weakness in the charts. We are exhibiting that weakness below that 200 moving average on the daily chart, and also on the hourly chart. Previously it was getting up above. Now everyone's talking about this inverse head and shoulders. I want to talk about this because right here, people are looking at this and they're like, well, it's an inverse head and shoulders, so it has to go up. No, it doesn't have to do anything. It could go down as well, right? Because it's patterns like this you got to be very careful about. Right now, I don't like the placement of this inverse head and shoulders simply because this should take place at a market bottom, not at a market top. If I were to roll back, let's go back quite a number of years. Let's just say, give me 20 years, okay? Give me 20 years, and let's go back to last market crash over here. So we were climbing out of this in 2009. At that time, people were talking about this pattern right here, this head and shoulders. It may be a little bit more clear with SPY, so I'm going to flip over that on SPY. So SPY back in the last big market correction over here. So 2009. A lot of people were talking about this back then. They were saying, well, we got some head and shoulders right here. that market's definitely going to go to the downside. But look at the placement. Placement is important. You got head and shoulders, but we're at a market bottom. So market reverse went up to the upside. Now we are looking at the same test, only in reverse. I think there may be some more downside corrections coming because right now you have this inverse head and shoulders. Seems to be sucking in a lot of suckers. They're saying, well, this is inverse head and shoulders, I want to go long. But if we're looking at the Nasdaq, let's see which we have. Right here we have Nasdaq showing weakness. Okay. How about the diamonds? Also showing weakness below that 200 moving average. Russell 2000. Also showing weakness. So I'm just going to deal with Nasdaq for now. I'm going to take a little bit less data so the chart loads faster. Over here, I like to find more shorting opportunities in the Nasdaq. So I would just get that list going. If you're in Thinkorswim, all you got to do, click over here. You can go to public. You can go to Nasdaq 100. And that's how you get its list going. And if you just flip through this list, how many of these charts are actually strong, right? Over here, you have Amazon trading below that 200 moving average. Alphabet, BlackRock, also trading below. Mercado Libre, also trading below. Tesla, this is the only bright spot in Tesla, which I've also reviewed a couple of days ago. We do have a nice support right around this 978, 980 area, trading nicely above that 200 moving average. But if you're looking at rest of the market in Nasdaq, okay, this one is also doing well. This one's doing well. All right, so there are some winners in here, but ASML not doing so well. Broadcom still looking decent. Costco looking decent. Charter not looking so great. So we're looking at the broad markets. The broad markets is showing me weakness. So I want to find charts like this that are also exhibiting weakness. And if I'm wrong, right? But I'm just sticking through my trading plan. So you look into it, it's been selling off for quite a number of months over here from that pivot high to pivot low for 79 bars, 115 days of downwards correction. Okay, how about Adobe? Adobe is also showing weakness. I've been talking about Adobe for quite some time to the downside as well. Centus is looking nice. Align, also very weak right now. Lululemon. So somebody on Twitter mentioned about Home Depot. I like this chart to the downside. I really do. Because if you're taking a quick look at this, we're right around $300, trading below that 200 moving average. There's a series of lower highs and lower lows. Now there are other ones that have already kind of started the downside correction for quite some time. I don't want to be chasing those. This is kind of like at the beginning stage where charts are starting to sell off. Yeah, I don't want to be chasing this when it's all like 200, right? Because buyers may be stepping in, but right here, this is decent. And I have a 3-price relationship. Let's take a quick look at ISRG, something like this as well, right? Also around 275, 276. Yeah, all these charts are showing weakness. Amgen showing strength over here. Crowdfire finding some strength. NVIDIA. Okay, so over here with NVIDIA, I like to see if I can get a formation of a short setup to set up. So over here, I like to take a quick look at this pullback to the upside before a slight sell-off to the downside over here. Okay, so I like to kind of do a little measurements. How does this measure compare to this one over here? Okay, that's getting up above that 200 moving average. How about over here? And doing a quick Fib retracement poll. yeah, so right here, there's nothing for me to do. I like to see if price can come up and give me a shorting opportunity coming up here. And from there, more downside correction. That would be ideal for me. I don't know how other people are trading it, but that's how I look at the markets from day in, day out. So if you have any questions, just leave them in the live chat. That's all I wanted to go over today. Not going to make a super long video. And I also just uploaded a video concerning Thinkorswim. If you are logging in, if you're setting up your Thinkorswim for the first time, or there's just so many things that are confusing. There's so many things I don't really use to Thinkorswim. I kind of just took out a lot of different gadgets, showing people how I would go about setting up my charts, and maybe a useful video for you to watch. Just want to thank you for you guys jumping on this short live video, and I will talk to you soon.